And this is John and Mark X. Cronin of John's Crazy Socks. If you've not heard of these guys, you're missing out because they have the largest sock store in the history of the universe. So if you've ever thought about buying crazy socks, we've got a great story for you today. And I think you're going to love John and Mark in this. So John, Mark, welcome to the show today.
Hi, Jason. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
We are excited to be here with you.
Yes.
Well, I'm honored to have you guys because it's special. I love talking to entrepreneurs. So that's easy. So that's what I do most of the time on this show. I don't often get a chance to talk to a father-son duo. As a matter of fact, I think you're probably the first father-son duo ever on the show. And John, I believe you're the first guest on this show with Down syndrome. And I am so excited to talk about how you used your gifts and abilities to build an amazing company, John's Crazy Socks. So who is the company named after, John or Mark?
Who named the company?
It's my company. I told website got ideas, and I came up with the name.
You came up with the name. I tried. I suggested Mark's Merry Socks, Mark's Serious Socks, right? What'd you say?
I didn't know.
You said no.
Well, I tell you, I am an advocate of the Crazy Socks, and I'm going to tell you. I told you before the show I was going to tell you this story. So this has been probably 10 years ago, and during that time of season of my life as an entrepreneur, I wasn't doing coaching. I wasn't running this podcast. I was running a company. I was the president of the board of the Chamber of Commerce. I was doing a lot of more professional things where it required me to dress up. And so I would wear, jeans and a button up and a suit coat, and dress shoes. But I would always wear what I would refer to as crazy socks. So great name, and just different patterns. And I would order them from, wherever I could order them online. I didn't know about John's Crazy Socks, or I would have ordered them for you, but I ordered them. Well, here's this funny story. So John, Mark, I was wearing a pair of blue and white striped socks that were kind of like had a pattern in it. And I was at this meeting and we were hiring a new chamber director, chamber CEO. And I was the head of the committee. And one of the ladies on the committee, she was an older lady, and she happened to see my socks, and she came up to me after the meeting and she scolded me in a polite way. She was awesome. I loved her. And she said, "Jason, what do you have on your feet? You're not supposed to wear socks like that. You're supposed to wear black or brown or blue, something that matches your outfit." And I told her name was Miss Sue. And I said, "Miss Sue," I said, "No, this is what I do. I wear crazy socks." And I ended up ordering a pair of socks that had my face on it. And the next time I saw her, I showed her my socks that had my face on it. She just shook her head. She doesn't understand crazy socks. But I think you guys have found a huge niche in crazy socks. So when did you guys start the company, and why did you start it?
Well, you'd have to go back to the fall of 2016, right about this time. And, if you get the full story, Jason, the story started in a small log cabin in the woods.
No.
It started here on suburban Long Island in a town called Huntington. And where were you?
I was at a Huntington High School. I could be my license school.
So John was trying to figure out, like everybody else, what do I do next? And what were you looking at?
Like a job program at school. I can't find creative that I like.
He couldn't find anything he liked. And this is an unfortunate reality. Only 1 in 5 people with a disability in this country are employed. It's awful. So, but that necessity, I'm looking at you, your history of you started as a school teacher, that creates opportunities.
Yep.
And John here, he's a natural entrepreneur.
Yes, I am.
So you didn't see a job you wanted. What'd you say?
I said, I want to create one. I want to make one. I told my partner, I want to get 50% with my dad. A nice father something together.
Which is very cool. I've got 3 sons,
Yes,
and this
yeah.
is one I could work with.
Yes,
So,
I am.
Now, I know there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there, and you entrepreneurs, everybody, you got lots of ideas. And not all of them are necessarily good ideas. What was one of your ideas, John?
One of them is a food truck. I saw a great movie called Chef and Sean Farrow. It's a neat movie about a father and son buying a food truck.
So a food truck. That sounded like a great idea. Everybody loves a food truck, right?
Yes.
And we're thinking, what could we make? Where would we put it? What were you thinking about making? You're always telling me barbecue and
I
pulled
like a
pork.
barbecue, yes.
I know when we're down in Nashville, you
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
you got to come to Nashville, get some good barbecue now.
But we ran into a problem with this idea.
We can't cook.
Yeah, we can't.
Barbecue takes, you got to know how to cook, guys, if you're going to make barbecue, because barbecue requires a lot of smoking, long cooking, good sauces. So yeah, if you can't cook.
I wish I could remember now that back in January, we were down there and had some great barbecue in Nashville.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember the name of that place? It was kind of like a cafeteria setup. Anyway, right before Thanksgiving, John had his eureka moment.
I did. I want to sell crazy socks. Wild socks. It's fun. It's crazy. It's colorful. It's creative. It's always let it be me. I want crazy socks my whole life.
We used to drive around looking for these socks. And so, Jason, before you were telling that story, that's what John did. And we find that's what our customers do. So many of us wear a uniform. It may be a suit and tie, it may be khakis and a polo shirt, but your socks, you can express who you are, how you're feeling. So we decided that we would test this idea. And I know you've run lots of businesses. I heard one of your interviews with Mike McAllowich. The standard thing to do at that point is stop everything and prepare a business plan.
Yeah.
And I've done lots of those for lots of businesses I've run, evaluated them. But that's not what we did. We went the lean startup route. We said, John, you already had the name.
I got a name, actual website, cover ideas.
So we built a website on the Shopify platform, got a little bit of inventory. The only marketing we did to start was set up a Facebook page. I would take out my cell phone and we made videos. And who was in those videos?
I talk about socks. Socks, more socks.
What day did we open?
We opened, I think, December 9th, 2016.
It was a Friday, and we didn't know what to expect. But that first day, we got what felt like a flood of orders. We got 42 orders.
Wow.
And most of them were local in the town of Huntington.
Yep.
So we decided we would do home deliveries. And we had these red boxes. We put the socks in the box. What else did you put in?
I put socks, sticking up for me, and candy. I picked out 100 Kisses.
Right, we got bags of Hershey's Kisses and poured them in, loaded up the car, and drove around. And you knocked on doors delivering socks.
I did. A customer response that loved the socks. And the customer loved me.
That's
I
right.
shared a photo, the pictures on social media. A word I did, I spread.
We're driving around now. It's just the two of us starting. So it's nighttime and he's knocking on doors. And in New York in December, it's dark and it gets cold.
Yeah.
I'm watching John get out. He knocks on the door. He goes in the house. And I'm sitting out in the car freezing. And where is he?
He's having hot cocoa, huh?
Yeah, that's it. He's in there drinking hot chocolate, telling stories, taking pictures.
Right.
By the end of that month, really 2 weeks, we had shipped 452 orders. And we knew we had something. We didn't know how big it would grow. We didn't know how fast. When we started, we had 37 different pairs of socks.
Yes.
How many do we have now?
Today we have 4,000 different kinds of socks.
So more choices than anybody else. So John owns the world's largest sock store.
I did.
We're not out selling Walmart and Target, or at least not yet, but more choice than anybody else. But we've been able to grow it. We've been able to create 34 jobs. 22 of those are held by people with differing abilities.
Yes.
Our giving back program has raised over $800,000 for our charity partners like
Olympics. Now switch down to some anxiety. All the some anxiety in America.
we've shipped 475,000 packages to 89 different countries. And you like to say,
Just get started.
just getting started.
Just getting started. Well, so what's what led to the opportunity for you to speak before Congress? Because I know you have been fierce advocates for the rights of people with differing abilities, and you've testified twice before Congress. What led to that opportunity for you to testify before Congress?
Well, first, we do have to clarify, we were not subpoenaed. That's a big question nowadays. So I want to put this in context, and I want to speak to other business owners out there. Our business, because of the media attention we've gotten and social media attention, we get recognized and people listen to us. That creates an obligation on our part to speak up for others. And part of our mission, I'll put it in context. What's our overall mission? What are we doing?
I spread happiness.
Spreading happiness. But a lot of that is driven by, let's show what people with different abilities can do. So we meet with legislators to advocate, and that led to being invited to speak before Congress. And after we did it once, somebody else came up. I mean, I'm sure you know this, kind of media begets media. Speaking engagements beget more speaking engagements. So we were invited to testify before the House Small Business Committee.
Yep.
And then a staffer who heard us there asked us the next year to testify before a joint session of Congress, a joint congressional committee. And then, it keeps going. There was somebody in the audience from the State Department who then connected with us, and they took us on a speaking tour of Canada. So that's that's how it connects or happens.
Let's take a quick break to thank our amazing sponsors for making this podcast possible.
I finally got it. It's the brand new Relay credit card. So check it out. I'm gonna do a little unboxing for you so you can check this out. So here we go. Nice little case, kind of like the American Express. They're not playing. They're doing it right. Oh, look at this. There's a quote right inside. It says, "Success is having to worry about every damn thing in the world except money." Johnny Cash. That's pretty good. I've not heard that one. Oh, this is nice. A little thing on the back, up to 1.5% cash back, no annual fees or interest, 30-day billing cycle. And there it is. It's the Relay credit card. It's a Visa. So I'm not going to show you my number, but there it is. Look at that. Boom. Go to therealjasonduncan.com/relay.
Thanks for listening to our sponsors. Now, back to the show.
Yeah, and so what's those testimonies that you gave before Congress, was it specifically about advocating for people with differing abilities and job
Yes.
markets? And now
About hiring.
you gave that statistic. I did not know this. Like 1 in 5 people with differing abilities in the United States are employed. So that means 80% of people with differing abilities are unemployed. Now, question for you, because I don't know, is it because they are unemployable, like legitimately could not have a job, or is it because people won't hire them?
Yes. Some would have difficulty having any form of employment. But the largest part is because employers don't hire. And I used to say that we needed to create more jobs for people with different abilities. I don't think that's right. The jobs are there. It's people have to be willing to do the hiring. And we're kind of like evangelists spreading the country. That's one of traveling the country. It's one of the reasons we're so grateful you have us on your podcast. we want to make the argument. We want to demonstrate that hiring people with a disability is good business. It's not altruism. And yes, you'll feel good, and you go to church or synagogue or the mosque on the weekend. It'll make you feel good, but it's going to help your business. I'll give you a couple of easy examples there. So much of what we do, we run a pick and pack warehouse. It's a boom industry. We hear all the time from other employers, we can't find enough good workers. We have no problem filling all of our openings because we hire people with different abilities. And just consider this: in our warehouse, over our 8 years, we've mainly hired from 3 different labor pools. People with a disability, moms. There are some dads in there, but we schedule people in 4-hour shifts. That's mainly so people can manage their benefits if they're getting SSI. So if you're a mom, you can come, put your kid on the bus in the morning, come to work, put your kid up in the afternoon. And then the third group are general laborers who want a starting salary of $16.50 an hour. By far, the best labor pool are people with differing abilities. They want to be there. They never miss work. They care about what they're doing. They do a great job. We have an advantage over people that can't fill jobs or they have constant turnover. But I'll give you a second example. Another small business, you probably heard of them. It's a software company out of Redmond, Washington called Microsoft. So they're in fierce competition to hire programmers and technical staff. One day they pick their heads up and say, how come we don't hire more people on the autism spectrum? Many of whom are terrific programmers. Well, that's an easy one, because that person with autism may not look you in the eye at the interview, may not give you a firm handshake. And they're pretty smart people at Microsoft. They said, what the hell does having a firm handshake have to do with writing code? So now they hire lots of people on the spectrum. They change their recruiting and hiring process, and they're supportive. That gives them a competitive advantage over other tech companies because they can tap into a really good labor pool that others don't.
It's a very interesting perspective, and I think that people like me, I don't have normal daily interaction with people with differing abilities, so I don't understand it. It doesn't. I don't understand what Down syndrome is, although I can recognize it and I get it. Like I don't interact with people with autism. So because of that, I simply don't understand it. And the sad part is, Mark, and I know you know this better than anybody else, and John, for sure you do, is that people are afraid of that which they do not understand. And so they look at someone who is clearly with Down syndrome. You could recognize it because there is a unique, beautiful look to someone with Down syndrome, just like John has. And you're like, I don't understand that, so I'm not going to hire that person. But that's not. If the word fair gets thrown around by kids all the time, that's not fair. But it legitimately is the definition of not being fair, because just like anybody else, like if somebody walked into my office right now and said, hey, I want a job as X, whatever X is, whatever they're going to do for me, I'm going to see if they fit. It doesn't matter whether they grew up in a single family or single mother home, whether they grew up on the wrong side of the tracks, whether they're on food stamps, or whether they had a silver spoon in their mouth. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they can curl their tongue, if they write left-handed. It doesn't matter if they know how to hop on one leg. I'm going to see if they fit for the program. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people in the employment market as entrepreneurs, because I'm speaking to us entrepreneurs out there, is we're the people employing people, is that you automatically discount someone's ability to work for you because of the way they look. I don't think that's fair, and I don't think that's right. And I appreciate what you and John are doing to change that.
Well, I think you're right in that thing, in your assessment. Many people, it's a combination of ignorance and fear. And I'm not trying to be mean-spirited here.
Right.
They just don't know. They don't have exposure. And then they fear it. But let's put aside, we can come back about how a job is so meaningful in a person's life and how it can be transformative. But I want to look at it from the business point of view. Yeah, let me make an assumption here. Every business, you've run numerous businesses, every one of member of your audience who runs a business, you want to hire the best possible people at a salary you can afford to pay. If you artificially exclude a population, you can no longer say you're hiring the best possible people. I'll give you an example I think most people can relate to out of American history. It's 1947, and the then Brooklyn Dodgers decide to integrate baseball by signing Jackie Robinson, the first Black American to play in the major leagues. Dodgers went on to sign some other Black players, Roy Campanella, Don Newcomb. The next two teams to integrate were the then Cleveland Indians and the New York Baseball Giants. Guess what happened? They became the best teams in baseball. Think about them as businesses. They gained a competitive advantage because they said, we're going to hire people based on talent, not based on some artificial barrier.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave them a competitive advantage. The thing to do for any business, you have to match what you need done and the person you hire. Look at their strengths, what they can do, and don't look at what they can't do. If I'm starting a basketball team, even at his advanced age, I probably would still want LeBron James on my team. I don't care what his SAT scores were. I don't care if he speaks French. I don't know. I don't care what his grade was in sociology. I want to know, can he play hoops? And yet frequently as employers, we don't do that.
Yeah.
And it's a disservice to our business. Again, I'll give you two examples. One is a trend that's happening now. People are requiring college degrees or other experiences for a job. Take an administrative assistant job. And yet 70% in that administrative position, assistant position, don't have a college degree. So you clearly don't need a college degree to do the job. Why are you asking for it? And I'll give you another example. It was the late 1970s, and the good men that run the fire department in the city of New York said, maybe one of these days we should hire some women. Good idea. So to get on the fire department in the city of New York, you have to score high enough on a written test to be invited to take the physical test. Women scored high enough. They took the physical test. No woman could pass the physical test. So the good men said, you see, none of them are qualified. They can't pass the physical test. Until a court looked at the physical test and said, wait a second, this has nothing to do with the job. Why don't we prepare a test that matches the job? Don't dumb it down. Not saying that. And guess what? Many women pass that test. So as an employer, I want the best possible people. I want to have as broad an opening as I can for people that can walk in my door.
So when you did you've done 2 TED Talks. So what was the first TED Talk topic? What was that about?
The first TED Talk one was about how we need people with differing abilities more than they need us. That we think, they need our help. We got to do things. No, they're being very patient with us. And I tell that in a deeply personal story. You heard how we started.
Yeah.
We tell that story all the time. People love to hear it. We travel the country, speaking engagements. People want to hear that story. They love it. Not many people say, Mark, where were you? What were you doing? And so here's where I was. And this comes and spoke about it on that TEDx talk. I had been helping my wife run her law firm. She had a small personal injury law firm. The entrepreneurs out there can appreciate this. What makes one a good lawyer has nothing to do with running a business.
True.
So she was a good lawyer. She was kind of struggling with the business. I said, okay, we'll throw in together for some period of time. We'll grow the business. And that's what we did. She started with 5 cases. We got up to like 200 cases. However, my bride did something you cannot do. Before we were working together, she dipped into some client funds and she took some money. She didn't, intended to pay it back. She didn't pay it back, but she had already crossed the Rubicon. I found out about that late in the summer of 2016, said we have to run to that client. Don't walk, run and confess and pay her back, which we did. We didn't have the money to pay it all back right away. We was trying to pay it back. But on Columbus weekend, I got a letter from, I remember it was a Saturday afternoon, a letter came in from my wife from the Bar Association saying, there have been these charges leveled against you. How do you respond? And that's how we knew the gig was up. We were closed Monday. On Tuesday, we shut the business down. Tuesday afternoon, 2 detectives showed up at the office. And on Friday, my wife turned herself in to law enforcement. Overnight, we lost what was the family business. We had no family in. We had lost all our income. And my wife was now facing a jail term. The only question to us at that point seemed to be, how long would it be? And in the midst of that, my partner here comes to me and says, Dad, I want to start a business. I want to go into business with you. I heard my son asking for help. Took me a little while, but now I know. He was coming to save me. He was coming to say, Dad, I believe in you. I know we're going to find a way out. And I'm here with you.
Let's take a quick break to thank our amazing sponsors for making this podcast possible.
As an entrepreneur running multiple businesses, effective communication is critical for me. I've tried all kinds of outreach tools over the years, but none have compared to Dubb when it comes to driving real results, and that's DUBB. I was one of Dubb's first users. I think it was like 7 years ago when they first launched, and I've been a loyal customer ever since. Dubb has completely transformed my prospecting, my client communication strategy, and here's why. Dubb makes it simple to record personal video messages and share them across email, SMS, social media, and more. And this brings back the face-to-face connection that's missing from most digital outreach. And what happens is my prospects instantly feel more engaged when they can put my face to my name. I end up building a stronger relationship faster by incorporating these video messaging into my workflow. Dubb also provides tracking and analytics so I can see exactly who engages with my videos and how they respond to them. Their automation and their CRM features help me nurture leads and close more deals. I mean, that's what we're trying to do, right, as entrepreneurs. So after using Dubb for years, I absolutely can't recommend them enough. I mean, Ruben, those guys over there are phenomenal. I love Darius. They're all great guys. It's become an invaluable tool that I depend upon to run my businesses efficiently. And if you want to boost your outreach and see amazing results like I have, head over to therealjasonduncan.com/Dubb. That's DUBB, and you can try it completely for free. No credit card required. You get the first 50% off your first 2 months, by the way, if you use my link. You need to take your prospecting to the next level with video messaging from Dubb. They're my go-to sales communication platform for nearly 7 years and counting. Go to therealjasonduncan.com/Dubb. Try it for free, no credit card required, and you'll get 50% off your first 2 months as well.
Thanks for listening to our sponsors. Now, back to the show.
Oh man, that's a great story, John. You're a good son, man, and it sounds like you're a pretty good friend, and you take care of business, and you've become a great entrepreneur. Let me ask you this, John. What did you think about when you said to Dad you wanted to start a business? What did you think was going to happen? Did you think you were going to start the world's largest sock store? What did you think was going to happen?
Can you repeat?
Yeah. So when we started, did you think the business would succeed?
Yes, I think my business could be a success because I think right now this is the world was a stock store because all the stock we have now, we go good boxes.
Well, but when we started, Did you
when
have any
started.
doubt that we'd succeed? No,
Not really.
you just knew.
I
And-
really knew. I knew that, and I think through it. I think through my head, and smoke my out my
When
ears.
John thinks hard, smoke comes out his ears.
Yeah.
But I want to be clear in all seriousness. John, it wasn't like John was a silly kid. Oh, we should sell socks. He had a plan. He had the name. He had the idea to sell online.
I did.
And how many entrepreneurs out there? Some of you haven't had an idea for a business, you haven't started. It's like, oh, but what if I did this, and what if it doesn't work, and I don't want to give up my job and this. This guy over here is no, burn the boats. We're doing this, and we're going to make it work. And then the only question is, now what do we have to do?
Yeah. Well, that's great. I love that you've done it. I'm looking at your site now, because it's not just crazy socks. You've got athletic socks, low cut socks, crew socks, knee high socks, basic socks, sports socks, bamboo socks. Like, you got every kind of sock imaginable. 4,000 awesome choices, and 5% of your earnings are donated to the Special Olympics. And every package gets a thank you note from John, right?
Yep.
Thank you note and candy. And on the packing slip, you see the name and the picture of the person who packed your order.
That's
So
great.
you're not just getting socks.
You get a dose of happiness.
A dose of happiness.
Oh my gosh. Well,
But Jason, I want to just hop in on one point here. Because part of what we're doing is showing what people with different abilities can do. So almost everybody in our warehouse has a different ability. Our shipping, our work, we do same day shipping. If an order comes in today, it is going out today. Our error rate is less than 0.2 of 1%.
Wow.
We do better shipping than Amazon. And old Jeff Bezos over there, he's not putting a thank you note and candy in those packages.
I did that.
You do, right? We've asked people, are you on Team Bezos or are you on Team John? John, you're spreading happiness, right?
I do.
What do you think Jeff Bezos is spreading?
I don't know.
Not happiness.
Yeah. I do like a Team John.
Well, let me ask you guys this question as we get ready to wrap up our conversation today. And I'll ask John first, and then Mark will get you the opportunity to answer too. John, what does the word success mean to you?
What tells you if you're a success?
It tells me a success that I follow my heart, because this is my dream. This job is my dream big, because I show inclusion and more impact, a community, because that is showing inclusion with disability. And we hired all employees.
Yeah, that's cool. It's success. You need the money to fuel things, but it's not that.
Yeah.
For us, we are on a mission. Let's show what people with different abilities can do. There's nothing better than to be in our warehouse at the holiday season. We do more than 50% of our business in the last 2 months, when it is filled with people working and the high energy. But I'll give you, an example of one of our colleagues. We're going to tell about Thomas.
I love that story.
You want to know about what can success be? Thomas, his mother first called us up in October of 2017. She said, I hear you hire people like my son. I want you to give my son a job. And our colleague said, oh, okay, but we don't have any openings. We'll post it when we do. She called every day because she's a mom. And I spoke to her and I said, tell me about Thomas. Well, she said, Thomas, a young man with autism, and he's in a very bad way. He's very depressed. We can't get him to join any programs. We have trouble just getting him to come out of his room. He doesn't want to shower or shave, and he hasn't spoken to his father in over 6 months. Well, sounds like a wonderful employee. And when we had an opening, we said, bring Thomas out.
Yeah.
And what do we call the pickers in our warehouse?
Sock wranglers.
Sock wranglers. And to get the job, you have to pass the sock wrangler test. We'll train you, but you have to earn that job. Thomas passed that test as if he was put on this earth to be a sock wrangler. Today, at 6:30 in the morning, Thomas is showered and shaved and waiting for his father to drive him an hour to work. And when he gets here, the young man who wouldn't look at you or talk to you goes around the whole building wishing everybody a good morning. And last year, to both the shock and utter joy of his family, he stood up at his brother's wedding and gave the best man toast.
Wow.
And I want to be really clear. We did nothing. We are the knuckleheads selling socks.
Yes, we are.
We have no government support, no special programs. All we did was give Thomas the opportunity to earn a job. And it's life transforming. And so success for us is creating more jobs, meeting more people, showing what's possible, inspiring people.
Absolutely.
We've heard from quite a number of businesses now that said they started because they saw what we were doing. And we've helped a number of businesses get started.
Absolutely.
That's success.
Absolutely. I'm showing my colleague can do. Any better I gotta be. We are very fortunate.
I love it. Well, you guys are an inspiration to so many. And as entrepreneurs are thinking about what they can do to make impact, the impact in the life of someone like Thomas, I mean, what kind of reverberations does it have out through a family, through generations of people? So there's ways to make impact that you're not even thinking about. So congratulations, John. Congratulations, Mark, on your success. It's an honor to know you guys. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna tell my team to release this episode sooner so that you can get a little piece of that Christmas rush, because I don't want to release it too close to Christmas and people can't order their socks. So I'm going to tell my team to push you up to the top of the line to get you out there, get this episode out there. So if you want to order some socks, you get a 10% discount if you go to johnscrazysocks.com and use the code success10. That's success10, and you get 10% off. That's good through the end of the year. But make sure you go order your socks before Christmas, like order them for the Christmas season. Like, here we go. We got these two beautiful human beings and all of their employees. They're in New York, Huntington, that are trying to, make a better world for all of us. John, Mark, I want to give you guys the last word on the show today before I close things out. Just tell everybody what to do next. But you guys get the last word. What would you like to say?
Well, I'm going to go first. We're going to take two, and then you go.
Yes,
right? Here, you own a business. You have 3 employees. That's 3 families. You can make an impact. And look, we sell socks. You buy from us, you're going to get great socks. More choice. There's socks that will make you happy. They're great socks. Customers love it. But here's what else you're going to do. You're going to help us employ people with different abilities like Thomas. You're going to help us give back. Most of all, you help us
spread happiness.
And do you have advice for those entrepreneurs out there?
Yes, partner. Follow your heart. Follow your dreams. Work hard. So you can do.
I'm going to run through a brick wall now.
Oh, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's an honor to know you, and you consider me a friend. When you come back to Nashville, we'll go get some barbecue. And
you like that?
Yes.
And I'll wear some crazy socks and we can talk about socks. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. I wanted to every social media link that you can go check these guys out: Facebook, X, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. All you got to do is look for John's Crazy Socks on any of those platforms. Follow them. Make sure you order some socks. Go to johnscrazysocks.com. Use success10. That's through the end of the year 2024. So if you're listening to this episode after this, the code won't apply. But through the end of the year 2024, you can use Success 10 to get 10% off your order. to bless somebody with some crazy socks and get a note from John saying thank you because he's spreading happiness. So thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you to guests like John and Mark who get to be on this show, and I get the privilege of interviewing them. Make sure you tune in again next time when I talk with yet another very successful person or father-son duo, like I did today, about their journey to success. Until then, as always, I am the real Jason Duncan, and Jesus is King.
Attention business owners. Attention business owners. Feeling burnout from running your business? Uncertain if you're nearing burnout? Take our free 10-question business burnout test at businessburnouttest.com to discover where you stand. With just 10 quick questions, you'll learn how to immediately begin making changes to regain freedom and success. Cut your daily operations time in half. Improve your quality of life and prepare your business for your future exit without losing revenue or profit. Visit businessburnouttest.com now and take the test. Thank you for listening to another edition of The Root of All Success with the real Jason Duncan. If you've enjoyed this week's episode, visit therootofallsuccess.com to access the show notes and other helpful resources. Follow Jason on social media at The Real Jason Duncan. See you again next time here on The Root of All Success.